Love podcasts, hate nonsense. Welcome to Between Two Ferns with me, Zach Galifianakis.
And me, Barack Obama.
We finally put something on the green screen, Ava.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I think we should let the audience decide. If you're listening to this...
What do you think of the ferns?
It's it's Jeremy Corbyn wearing a hat.
Oh, right, yeah.
Do you think that it looks like he's in St. Petersburg?
Nice. And then there's a Superman, Rishi Sunak, behind him.
Yeah. And it's to scale. So it's about the size of a spatula.
Beautiful.
Right, what are we chatting about today?
Well, there's some housekeeping, Ava.
Oh, okay. Do you think we should do the housekeeping at the... Should we keep it tight this time?
We'll do it at the beginning and the end.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yeah,
live show.
there is that.
The ticket link is dropping today.
Is it?
Today.
Is it?
Yes. So buy a ticket. Come see us.
Yeah.
It will be in central London, the Apollo Theatre,
Yeah. Which is also
30th of June.
very good if you are looking to come into London that evening and then depart London that evening as well. Good transport links there.
Very much so. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you could come from the surrounding areas.
You actually have a choice at that theatre of every tube line in London, apart from the DLR.
Yeah, but who fucking wants to get that?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, are we counting the overground? That's the big conundrum, isn't it?
As a
the
tube line.
overground counts as the underground.
Because it's called the Overground, I'm going to say it doesn't count as the Underground.
No, I get that, but that's also like where people say that the M25 is the ring road, that everything inside that is London, and
Yes.
it's not.
You don't agree with that?
No. No.
Explain your rationale for that.
I go by the Greater London boundaries.
The boroughs.
I go by if you're in the GLA, you're in London.
For me, it's within the M25. What's outside the M25 that you think should count as London?
Probably Epsom. Because if you look at it, the only reason that Epsom and Ewell aren't... Ewell is a London borough, so that constituency is half in London, half not. And the reason Epsom is not is because it went out to consultation in the... It's somewhere between the 60s and the 80s. And Epsom didn't... Yeah. So Epsom didn't want it because they thought that it would attract too many people who commute to live in Epsom.
Right.
Which totally is now a commuter town, so they've cocked that one up.
But if you're a commuter town, surely by nominative determinism, you can't be in London because you're a town from which you commute to London.
I would say that like a lot of the like Kingston is a commuter town.
Yeah, but part of London. Mm-hmm. Interesting.
What about like, yeah, I think a lot of places in South. I think if you're getting on a train, you're commuting. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. So ticket link, that'll be out. Buy a ticket.
Let us know your route.
Please drop a comment letting us know how you intend to travel to the live show.
That's one reason I'd love to receive an email from a listener. Let me know your route.
Okay. That's that, tick.
Great.
Then send us your questions for the 200th episode Q&A on Friday. Although, Ed will be back from Germany then.
It'll just be you and Ed.
So it'll be me and Ed.
On the 200th.
Yeah.
That's quite sad, that.
I suppose we could wait.
We could, of course, wait.
Okay, well, that will either be on Friday or Monday, depending on whether or not we want Ava to participate.
Drop a comment.
Drop a comment if you want Ava to participate, and if you don't, let us know the route by which she should leave the studio. And then tomorrow, you are going to be live and direct from York.
Yes.
With Laura.
The girls are back together.
Fucking, the girls are back in York.
Yeah.
Well, Have you been to York before?
No, this is...
First time?
Yeah, well, I was saying to you yesterday, wasn't I, that I wanted to go to York for a really long time. I didn't think that it would be with Sean.
Is that disappointing?
But here we are.
Laura will be there too. And
She
Sam.
will be there. And I think Laura and I did discuss that I think we can actually watch the first half of the England game while they're setting up. First half will be done by 5:45. Call time's not till 6, Ollie. We're not going live until 7.
Do you care that much?
About what?
The England game?
No, not at all. I just like seeing their outfits.
Very good. Oh my God, they're all wearing the same thing.
Yeah. No, not again.
Nice. That's something we need to consider, actually. The live show, if we win our group, it will possibly be clashing with our first knockout game.
Well, I think that we'll update them throughout.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
You could just put the game on behind us.
We could actually, couldn't we?
Then no one would have to listen.
Yeah.
There's an idea. I think that's it for housekeeping.
Great.
My phone's on charge upstairs, so I don't actually have the rundown.
Well, if you notice, so what we've actually done with the housekeeping there is we've actually reduced it by 0.3%, because even though it still is increasing each time we do it, it's now actually increasing at a slower rate than it was yesterday.
Very good.
Thank you.
Very good. Inflation's at 2%, baby.
Yeah, the Bank of England are losing their minds right now. They're going to actually have to do some work.
Popping bottles in the city.
No, opposite.
Thread needles.
They're like, right, listen, lads, we've held the base rate now. We've got away with doing fuck all for a good year now.
They're going to be pleased with that, haven't they?
We haven't even met up. We haven't even met up to discuss. We've gone now. We'll just leave it at that.
I
Now
don't
they
think
have
this will
to be-
make a blind bit of difference for Rishi Sunak. I don't think it touches the sides.
Do you not?
No.
I
No.
actually think this is the only red flag for Labour. The only red flag.
Okay, why do you think that?
Because I do think that there are people who would look at their mortgages right now and they'd go, can't risk it. Cannot risk another shock. I'm gonna stick with it. The only other red flag, I think there are 2 red flags for Labour. That, and if he gets a flight off to Rwanda.
Yeah, there might be a surprise flight next week or something.
Because he'd tickle back all those reform voters, wouldn't he?
I don't even know if he would. Okay, so the problem with the inflation stuff is that the Tories kind of made their own bed with this, in that when inflation was spiking, they were at pains to point out, first of all, the independence of the Bank of England. Second of all, the contributing external shocks like war in Ukraine, hangover of sort of the pain on supply chains from the COVID pandemic. And like I said, we're very keen to point out, look, we can do some, but we can't do everything. And large parts of this are out of our control. So unfortunately, inflation is spiking. If you want to make that argument, it then becomes very difficult to claim the credit for inflation coming down.
But they will do it, Ollie.
Yes, yeah, I know they will do it, but this is what I'm saying. I don't think it politically, electorally, I don't think it's going to make much of a difference for them. And the other reason I think that, sorry, I'll just finish my point, and is that people have made their minds up. I think we've said it a couple of times before that this election is about sadism. It's about vengeance. It's an emotional reaction to 14 years of Tory rule. People have had enough, and it doesn't matter. They just want to vote for someone who is not the Tories, or at the very least, they just won't turn out for the Tories.
The voters are a bunch of girls. A bunch of emotional girls.
Okay.
Oh, you got PMS, have you? Gonna vote against the Tories? Are you upset, are you? Ed would have got right on board with that bit.
Yeah, he would.
But you see, what you also must remember about Rishi Sunak is that he is always a tale of two forecasts, because he, with the OBR, if you remember, the OBR was foolish. foolish and anti-conservative.
Independent economic forecast. Yeah.
Yes, when it pointed out that GDP would shrink by 4% because we no longer trade freely with that adjacent trading bloc.
The big one, yeah.
You know the one that's next door?
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, you know, things like when Liz Truss got the Pacific Trading Agreement and everyone was like,
that was dope.
What do you want me to do with that?
Yeah. I like that.
Anyway, so OBR,
a little treat.
It was a little treat, wasn't it? OBR very wrong until a couple of weeks ago, Ollie, when the OBR was very right.
I actually love the OBR. Have I ever told you?
Because it was positively predicting
Yeah.
growth.
Yeah. Okay.
It's called politicking, Ollie. Now,
Electioneering, perhaps.
well, you could say that, couldn't you?
Just on, we'll keep talking about this, but you mentioned Brexit, so I feel like we should talk about it. Because a recurring, I might call it a meme in this election, is no one wants to talk about Brexit. No one's mentioning Brexit.
No.
I think Brian Cox said it on Question Time the other day. He's not the only one. Stephen Flynn, the SNP, talked
Brian
about
Cox, of course, who is the leader of the SDP.
Do you think that Brexit is being discussed enough in this election? And if you don't, why?
Yes, I think it's being discussed enough.
Okay.
That's my controversial answer. Because it is so blindingly obvious that our growth has slowed because we are not in the single market. And let's not even get into the morality of Brexit because we don't have time, and we've got a tight one today, haven't we?
We said it. Tight half hour.
But the problem when Brexit gets introduced into the argument, you only ever have top line stuff. So like the other day when, oh God, I can't even remember was it Julie Etchingham was going around the candidates?
Yeah, probably.
And she said, will you take us back into the single market? You had a categorical no from Labour. The reason they say that is because what you've now seen in the last couple of days. The second that Brexit gets brought up, all you hear for the rest of the time of that interview is, oh, so you're not going to follow the will of the people? There's no logical argument. There's no actual nuanced debate about what would be good for the economy. It's just top line crap.
Has the will of the people not changed, though?
Do I think that it would be a smart idea for any candidate to get into that will of the people debate right now? No. I think it's a waste of time.
But this is it.
Do it when you get into government, babes.
Without a democratic mandate. Love that. Now,
Yeah.
This is the point, though, isn't it? It might, leadership is not about taking the easy path, taking the easy decision. Leadership is about doing the difficult thing, doing the brave thing, and doing what's right.
Don't be all moral with me, all right? Don't say sensible things on here.
Sorry, I forgot. This is where we're not sensible. Silly me. I'll put my foot in my mouth again or something.
I think it's too easy to say, obviously, we should be talking about Brexit. But the nature of discourse in this country is that you can't have a sensible conversation about it during an election period.
I'm not saying obviously we should talk about it. What I mean to say is it merits some discussion. Like it serves the purposes of the shysters that took us out for us to stop talking about it. Like for example, with Nigel Farage and his growing candidacy, that sounds like Victorian erotica, doesn't it? His growing candidacy.
Or Roald Dahl or something.
Yeah. Roald Dahl wrote children's books.
Yes, and was also an anti-Semite.
Moving on. So your major policy achievements, Brexit, how's it going? Is it going well? No, it's not. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But
Farage has already got that side of it.
the war's done. You know, like Cummings said, Japanese holdouts, everyone's moved on. The UN's been created, but you're in like a foxhole on Iwo Jima, shaking, clutching a bayonet. You know? You got to move on.
Farage has really got there. We never got the Brexit we deserved. And I don't actually think that people are that interested in it.
I just think you're very happy to say, like, yeah, fuck your 4% GDP growth. I don't want it. Everyone's very happy to do that until they're not, if that makes... Until you actually desperately need it, until the economy is stagnant, until the economy isn't growing, and then all of a sudden it's like, God, we need growth. It's the byword. It's the byword. Keir Starmer, how are you going to fund public services? Growth. Why aren't you raising taxes? Growth. You're going to borrow? No, growth. Increase tax receipts. Liz Truss, growth. I can tell you where you get 4% growth from. It's in the single market.
Well, yeah, obviously. But that's because you're a man with eyes. And actually, none of our politicians have eyes.
Yeah.
And
some of them
problem.
are women as well. That's also a problem.
That is the problem. Keep crying, don't they, about the EU?
Keep getting PMS about the EU.
Exactly. A sensible politician, someone with the eyes and without.
Who's got good eyes?
Who's got good eyes as a politician?
Yeah.
Well, you see, I think that the Lib Dems have been quite good on this because they're not rejoin though, are they?
Single market.
They're single market.
Kind of rejoin.
Which is kind of rejoin. A sensible politician, if you're going to potentially be prime minister, you wouldn't want to say anything flagrant in the papers here that would make you look like Boris Johnson 2.0. And so it'd actually be better for you to just avoid the topic altogether. And then once you're in government, go and flirt with Europe and say things like, look, I know that you're really upset with us. I know you hate us. But that was that guy. You know? That was that bag of rats. This bag of cheese.
Yes.
And I want no tariffs on it.
Amen, sister. What do you think Macron would like? A little bit of ankle? A little bit of Keir Starmer ankle?
Oh, Macron's got his own things to worry about, hasn't he?
He does have his own things to worry about, yeah.
He's pissy.
Yeah.
He's he's about to go down like Louis XVI.
Okay.
Marie Le Pen's going to be in there eating brioche.
I saw something about, there was a really funny, like the sidebar on the FT, most read.
Oh, yes, the famous sidebar of the FT. Would you grow up on our side of the desk? Me, you should see what me and Ed are reading on our side of the desk.
What do you and Ed read on your side of the desk?
It turned to me the other day and he goes, you know what I hate?
What?
How good this Daily Mail sidebar is. He really did. I'm not making that up.
That, I would say that's verging on libel to be like, you read the sidebar of shame.
He's
not here to defend himself.
He just got caught in it one day. That's all.
Yeah, you do end up trapped in it.
Yeah.
That's why you can't go in it.
You might go in
It's
because
like
you have to
quicksand.
read something. Like someone might have...
Like what? Kim Kardashian wears bikini.
Suella Braverman might have written for Mail Plus.
Suella Braverman wears bikini.
Yeah, that's...
Would she be in the sidebar of shame?
Is that for you, that one?
No.
No?
Not for me. Not for me, Clive.
No, well, let's not talk about Priti Patel. Anyway, and then he got caught in the sidebar of shame.
Yeah, you get stuck there.
For example, unfortunately, I am going to want to read about Justin Timberlake when I go upstairs.
You should... Oh, yeah, drink driving, wasn't it?
And I'm not going to the FT for that.
No, I'd be surprised if it's on there. When you're next on the sidebar of shame, just have a little look at the eyes of the people in the thumbnails. See if you notice anything.
Oh, yeah?
A little bit of homework there for you. See if you come back with that.
I have, of course, been on the sidebar of shame before.
Featured in it.
Featured.
Yeah. Was your photo shoot there?
Let's go back to the FT.
FT,
Yeah.
right. Most read. And I'm paraphrasing here, but it was like neoliberalism. It was an opinion piece. It was like neoliberalism has not delivered the rise of the far right. And then the second piece was French big business courts Le Pen after being scared by the left.
Yes! That's great, that.
Yeah, it made me giggle.
Who was I listening to the other day? There was a commentator talking about. Couldn't have been. Someone was talking about how Labour are the end of neoliberalism, and
end of neoliberalism.
Yeah, and I thought it was one of the most
As in, they're going to bring it about, or they are the fag end of it.
That their manifesto shows that they're the fag end of it, which is wrong.
Interesting.
Well, it's not, because the trains, for one thing,
right,
are a continuation of neoliberalism, aren't they?
Well, I guess that's what they mean by the fact it's the swan song.
No, he said it's over.
Oh, right. So this manifesto ends neoliberalism.
Yeah.
Well, it's a take, sure.
Yeah. Sorry, not like a...
You got to write something in a newspaper, haven't you?
I misunderstood your fag end thing. I was thinking... So, yeah, not like a fin de siècle. It's over.
Mm. Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong,
right?
Mm.
The NHS plans as well.
Did you like the I Think You Should Leave meme on the Instagram account we did yesterday?
I didn't get it.
Oh. I don't know if anyone got it, Sean, to be honest with you.
I did warn you.
What was it meant to be?
In, I think, possibly the first episode of I Think You Should Leave, Tim Robinson's doing one of those injury lawyer for you. He's like spoofing an injury lawyer for you advert. And he's like, has this ever happened to you? And then he just increasingly says more outlandish, grotesque, appalling things. Call 1-800. And it just, it's funny. So that's why I did, has this ever happened to you? And then the second picture on the carousel was Tim Robinson, but I don't think anyone got it.
A video maybe as the second portion of the carousel might have helped.
Fuck.
Yeah. Or him saying, has this ever happened to you? Call 1-800.
Why didn't we think of that, Sean?
I don't know.
Well, we live and we learn.
Right. How tight have we been?
Yeah, how long have we got left? We haven't even spoken about big business in Labour.
You got like 5 minutes.
Fuck it, let's go. Right. Billionaire Tory donor, another one. Jump ship. He's in with the Labour Party now.
So we've heard.
One of many. Katie Balls has written about this in the Specky about a year ago now, probably, about the smoked salmon offensive that Rachel Reeves was on, and Keir Starmer, courting big money. And
Smoked salmon offensive. Yeah.
these people are fucking lame. Also, I hate smoked salmon.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean,
Never eaten it in my life.
You're not missing it. It's like slimy.
Is it?
Blech. Blech.
Right, so go on then. Billionaire, John Cauldwell, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that's one of them. I think it Phones for You guy he is.
But also, how funny that he's still billionaire from Phones for You.
Yeah.
You haven't seen one of them around in a while, have you?
I think they went bust about 10 years ago.
Yeah. Did you ever purchase a phone there?
Yeah.
Oh, they were for you then?
Phones for me, more like.
Yeah.
It was, like a Sony Ericsson brick, like.
Hey, that's a fun game. Did it go bust before or after Laura entered secondary school?
After it would have been.
I reckon before.
No.
I think so.
Can you pull up a date on that? I'll riff while you when it was one of the interesting things actually. It was an Easter egg, but in Ed's Boston piece, there's a shot of the high street, and there's the Phones for You storefront is still there, which obviously is old. When did it go bust?
2014,
And when did you enter secondary school?
2012.
Ah, you just about win it this time.
So, do you think that the billionaires? There's two possible explanations for the billionaires jumping to the Labour Party from the Tory Party. Numero uno. The billionaires don't actually really have any politics, and they're more interested in buying power and access. That's the first possibility, and that's the possibility if you believe the Labour Party and the Tory Party to be different politically, significantly. Because if they were significantly different in terms of their politics, how could you go, I'm donating £1 million to this party, but now I'm going to donate £1 million to this one? if their political agenda is completely different. So that's the first option. The second option is that actually politically, the billionaires now prefer the Labour Party. And so moving their donations because they prefer the Labour Party's politics. I think it's the first option. I think they know that Labour's coming into government and they're buying influence.
Well, yeah.
And if you look at...
He's got to get those Phones for You shops back open, hasn't he?
Is it Rachel Reed? Where was she speaking? She was reported as telling the bankers that their fingerprints were all over the manifesto. You see that yesterday?
Yeah, she did.
In the National, I think.
Well, it's sort of reaction, isn't it? Because a lot of people are very upset. A lot of bankers, well, banker adjacents, are upset that she's going to close the loophole on carried interest, isn't she?
I mean, if I was there, I'd be fucking happy about that. I should be doing a lot more than that. Windfall tax, the bastards.
So if you were someone...
Ed Davey's advocating for that, isn't he? Lib Dems are advocating for a windfall tax on bankers.
I think he's actually been doing it for years. He's ahead of his time, Ed Davey.
The coalition government minister is ahead of his time.
They should have...
Ed Davey is many things.
He wasn't that good at the post office. They should have given him a go at the Treasury. He'd have been all right in there.
We need Fujitsu.
Yeah. If you're someone who is in private equity and you're only having to pay 28%
No bueno.
on your, now you're going to have to pay what everyone else is paying on tax.
No me gusta.
You're not going to be gusta that, are you?
No me gusta.
No. You might even odio.
Me odio.
Yeah. Exactamente. Yeah.
Geezer. Cabron.
Dos cervezas, would ya?
Dos cervezas, geezer. Okay, so the billionaires are now donating to the Labour Party. Rachel Reeves says the bankers' fingerprints are all over the manifesto, and Unite the Union, which has about 1 million members, would not endorse the Labour Party manifesto.
Got a bit of tea on that, actually.
Yeah?
Spoke to a few of the other unions about that.
Oh, yeah?
They described that as politicking. They weren't too pleased with it. They actually used the word grandstanding.
Far better to lay down and think of England whilst Keir Starmer gives it to you.
Let's talk about this tomorrow because we've got to be proper today.
Yeah.
But that I do think...
What's tight in Spanish?
I don't know.
Let's find that out.
Um,
Go on.
But I actually... The contention between the unions and the Labour leadership is really interesting. And maybe we should chat about that a little bit.
Well, yeah. We'll do that tomorrow, maybe.
Why some of them endorsed it, why some of them didn't.
Because they
endorse the
can,
manifesto.
now that they have all this billionaire cash, the unions could disaffiliate and Labour could be, don't need your money.
Well, that is the...
Having 1 million activists would be pretty handy though, wouldn't it?
I'm not sure about that. Ajustado, but I don't think that's what it is. I think we need to call more like a estrecho.
Stretcho, sí.
Because that's more like narrow, close. That's kind of what we mean, don't we?
Yeah.
Estrecho.
Stretcho geezer.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. Housekeeping. Buy your tickets to the live show today.
Yeah.
Buy them today.
Buy them today.
Q&A episode. Send us your questions.
But can you actually send good questions?
There are some good ones on the subreddit. Some of them are bad.
Some people sent me some shite yesterday.
But they're emailing you.
Yeah.
Nice.
But that's what annoys me. If you send me something good, then it's interesting. But shite. It's like a sewer in there. I'm fielding PRs, fielding now their shite questions, emails from you.
It's tough at the top, isn't it? It's tough at the top. And live stream tomorrow on the YouTube. There'll probably be one, let's say 6 or 7. There
will be one at 7 o'clock. And there will be one at 9:30.
You heard it here first. You know who to complain to. You've got our email address.
Yeah.
All right.
So there'll be one half an hour before it starts and for the half an hour after it finishes.
Wonderful. Tight. Stretcho.
Yeah. Estrecho.
Estrecho. Adiós.
Vamos.
Vámonos.